November was Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and one thing that is getting more spotlight this year is Signal for Help, a hand signal created by the Canadian Women's Foundation when they launched a campaign at the end of September 2020. The signal has since spread internationally. You may have heard of a story to recently come out of the United States, when the hand signal may have saved the life of a North Carolina teen. Authorities were called after a motorist noticed a distressed young woman in a vehicle using the hand signal to get the attention of other vehicles. I sat down to do a digital interview with Kendall Trembath, Executive Director of the women's shelter Sakate House in Kenora. She explained the need for the hand signal. I asked her if she thought the publicity around the hand signal was a good thing.
Yeah, so once the pandemic hit and it was sort of going around the world, places like Canada were watching and seeing what was happening. And I think some of the conversations that were happening between women's groups was about the increase in violence happening to women because they were stuck in their homes. And I think what happened is the Canadian Women's Foundation picked up on there being a need for how do women make connections to the outside world when they're locked in with their abuser. Well, I think what really sort of brought it to the forefront, like I saw all the videos online that a lot of other people did, but I think that case in the United States where the woman was saved out of the car, the young woman was saved out of the car, really drove home that it was people are watching, right? And that not only did the young woman know to signal it, but then the person picked up on that that's what it meant. So it's really, when you start those sort of campaigns, you think, okay, am I giving away too much? Because if the woman does have to get out and everybody sees that signal, does then the abuser know what she's doing? But it turns out that that's not necessarily the case. You have to be aware and tune in. You have to be looking for those things. So obviously the people driving, because the police down in the States didn't know what that was about, but the people driving alongside that young woman did know what it was about and clued in enough to phone the police and get her some help.
While talking to Kendall, she told me about how one local business is helping in the fight to end domestic violence.
One of our partners during Domestic Violence Awareness Month is Lake of the Woods Brewery. And I know in their bathroom, they have the instructions for the angel shot. And I think that what that does is takes the pressure off of the woman to say to the person who is crossing her boundaries, you need to back off. Because that could actually lead down a more dangerous lane, right?
Taraz Manzi, president and CEO of the Lake of the Woods Brewing Company, sat down with me to explain more.
The premise of it basically is to help provide more patron security. So if, say, someone is, feeling threatened or having some difficulties, we'll say, sometimes people meet at bars or restaurants, and needs some help, but the person can sort of get up and go to the bar and ask for an angel shot. And that's sort of a trigger saying, I need some help, basically. And depending on how you order it, so there's posters in the washrooms as well, both the male and female washrooms here, to provide sort of information with regards to it. So if you order an angel shot neat, it means that the staff will escort you to your car. Obviously, this is done very quietly and sort of subtly, and it triggers action right away. If you ask for an angel shot on the rocks, the bartender will order you a cab and obviously wait with you until you're able to leave. And then if you order it with a lime, then that is the trigger for us to call for police assistance. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's fairly simple. We don't do it necessarily at table. It's designed for the patron to kind of get up and come to the bar for it. So it creates some separation as well.
Even though November 25th is the last day of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, there are still more days of learning planned ahead. Kendall explains more.
Really, the highlight of November is November 25th. That's the day for the elimination of violence against women. So everything up until the 25th, it leads up to that. And then coming down from that is the 16 days of activism. So it starts on the 25th, and then there are several important social welfare issues that go throughout those 16 days, and it ends on December 10th, but December 6th falls within there, and that's when we do our vigil for École Polytechnique.
For the Kenora Online Newsroom, I'm Sydney McInnes.